What is an adult problem you were not prepared for? How often you have to clean to maintain a clean house? Not only clean. Maintenance in general. I just found spot of mold in my garage and have to pull out what feels like half a wall. My husband just pointed out tonight that we have a damn vine growing through a window and is now attached to the living room ceiling. It's an old house, but what the hell. I'm so glad there are machines to do the dishes. That's so excessively repetitive. I would have gone mad if it didn't exist. Deciding what to eat for 3 meals a day 7 days a week. OMG. So basic. So maddening with the resto and kids in the mix. What would you like for dinner? What would you like for dinner? I'll eat whatever. What would you like for dinner? I like what you like. Fine, trail mix it is. Fucking torture. And, no, a strict daily menu planned in advance does not work. Trying to make friends. Aging parents. Definitely this one. I still remember being a little kid around 5 or 6 watching The Land Before Time and crying over Littlefoot's mom dying. I cried to my mom saying I didn't want her to go anywhere, and she said don't worry because it's something that won't happen for a really long time. Cut ahead almost 30 years and that time is almost here. I still remember it so vividly, and losing my parents is probably the scariest thing in my life. Seems like time flew by and I'm worried with how quickly it's all moving. Going from having tons of friends to really having no one. Even the few you have, if they get married and start popping out kids before you. Shit. I was a groomsman at my buddy's wedding and haven't seen him face to face in 2 years. First kid, back to college for his master's degree. House renovations have all kept him on lockdown. And now quarantined right when he finished his degree. Realizing some friends are shitty and you shouldn't be friends with them anymore. This right here. Shitty friends don't seem that bad when you're in high school. You see a bit more of toxic behavior in college. And then once you're in the real world you realize that type of energy isn't worth having in your life. How quickly fruits and vegetables actually go bad when you buy them yourself. How expensive living is. I worked all through high school, but my only bill was the gas I put in my car. 30 hours a week on minimum wage goes a long way on shopping sprees and nail salons when you don't have any other expenses. I developed nasty spending habits, not the value of a hard-earned dollar my parents were hoping for. I'm not in crippling debt or anything, but sometimes having to spend money on groceries or utilities depresses me more than it rationally should. Back hurting just from sleeping wrong. And from sitting wrong, and from doing housework and yard work, and from picking up dogs or kids or whatever life requires. How expensive lamps are. And dining room tables. And kids. And the things kids break. Like lamps. And dining room tables. And other kids. Pain. Arthritis is fucking horrible, and early onset autoimmune arthritis is worse than just having an ache in one or two joints. I hurt all the time, everywhere, and everyone just assumes you're faking it or you're a pill popper. I am not going to live another 20 years with this pain like my dad did. And the worst part is when people say you're too young to have arthritis. Yeah, I agree. I'm way too young to have this shit. Still got it though. When you're not in school surrounded by your peers, meeting new people and making friends is much harder and in many cases almost impossible. And dating is a whole other ballgame. Then again, for a lot of us that isn't too different from how high school was anyway. Adults never actually growing up. Yay this. I used to look at 30-year-olds and be like they got it figured out. Now I am 30, I feel as useless as I did when I was 17. In my mind my mama should be about 40. She has always seemed to be so strong, but sometimes I want to fall apart when I see her take several attempts to stand up or make excuses about driving on the interstate. She will be 70 soon, but to me she is still young. I don't know what I'll ever do without her. The constant obsessive feeling that I'm fast running out of time to have an enjoyable life even though I'm only in my 20s. Having others rely on you as an emotional ballast. I can barely stay sane myself, let alone carry someone else. No one telling you to stop procrastinating. Turns out, you get fat from overeating. Bread makes you fat. I was in no way prepared for the fact that one dark horrific day I would sit on my own balls. Which is definitely something someone should have mentioned. It left me feeling different somehow. The lack of time for myself. Life is all work, housework, yard work, childcare, bills, emails, phone calls. What's funny is that I have so much more free time now as an adult, single with no kids, that I know of, and it still doesn't feel like enough. No homework, no silly adult projects, renovating bathrooms, etc. No extracurricular that take up a load of time, and yet every night once I'm done eating dinner it's like damn it I have to go to bed in a few hours. Being able to not cook the same meal every day while balancing hundreds of other tasks. I will always admire my mom for how she was able to cook, have a clean house, work 43 hours and help her children do homework all while taking time to work out at the end of every day. I could mention other common problems like money management and common tasks that I haven't mastered, but what really hit me like a train was the actual transition of adulthood. I'm talking about having to make my own appointments and having to keep tabs on myself instead of handing every single document to my mom. I realized how unorganized I was when I found my birth certificate in the same drawer where I have junk receipts. Crippling loneliness and romantic rejections. My heart is just dead, and now I feel empty inside. Being the mature one. People rely on you. Both your parents and your kids. You become the filling in a responsibility sandwich and the weight of it is crushing at times. Preparing for retirement. Of course everyone knows they will stop working at some point, but now that I'm 40, it feels like I really need to get it together. Am I going to continue bad habits that negatively impact my health, or will I finally make changes to be healthier later? My new favorite worry, will I really have enough money to retire and live comfortably enough to have a good of quality life? 10 years ago this all seemed so far away. Now, it feels like I'm speeding to the next phase of my life. Just how hard it is to lose weight once you're past your 20s. Woman hair. Random chin hairs. Popped up in late 30s. I feel betrayed. How ignorant so many people are. And seemingly pleased with being so. How quickly your knees will age. Realizing that not even your parents have all the answers. And finally understanding that they were just figuring it out as they went, just like we are. Not having an all-knowing figure to give you the answers to all your problems is the pits, and I hate it. Getting dumped by someone you've been dating as an adult after months of thinking, you know this one is different. I really think we can make this work. Writing for a friend, of course. Cliques and bullies are just as bad in the office as they were in school. Watching my parents get old. Yeah, but they get to watch you turn old too, so there's that. Dusting. It never ends. No one else is going to kill that bug. Hangovers. When I would drink a lot during college, I would wake up the next and feel totally fine. Thought maybe I was immune to hangovers, then at some point in my late 20s they started to hit me hard. Sustaining motivation to continue my responsibilities, such as money and shelter. You have to buy insurance, but can never use the insurance, or else no one will sell you insurance. Holding back from murdering my neighbors on a daily basis. Falling in love at an older age but watching life speed by so fast. Wished I'd met her 30 years ago. The amount of family get-togethers you don't want to go to after you get married. Dealing with your parents acting like children. All the DIY you have to do when you own a house. Buying cheese. Why is it so expensive? And no, I will not get the floppy kind. It's entirely possible to lose your job through no fault of your own. Having a kid or kids is insanely difficult, especially if they have any added issues. No one told me that my wife's flesh would tear open and nearly kill her just to have a child. Not all babies can breastfeed. How about the toll staying up all night then working most the day, every day, just to keep the little thing alive? Working to afford your student loan debts, rent, food, car insurance / maintenance, and if you're lucky, Hopefully have savings. The emotional toll raising a child takes on you, your partner and your relationship. Having kids might be a choice, but sometimes it's not necessarily your choice. Hell, living with another person and being dependable, emotionally stable and accountable is a never-ending struggle. Trying to keep a house clean or anything that resembles an attempt at presentable. Hearing about your friends and acquaintances from high school passing away every year starting from the year you graduate. Trying to learn to fix everything and anything because you can't afford to pay someone else to do it, just so you can afford to maintain your poverty. Also, democracy in a relationship sometimes really sucks. Whose family should you live closer to? Whose work opportunity do we pursue? How do we balance who gets time away from the kids and what chore will you do and said time off? Peter Pan had it all figured out. Basically being alive. No joke, I never planned on living this long. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily Reddit videos.